Sabeel, you pitched a story about a Sandy victim who is really not come to terms with being displaced from her home.
Bill, the state has announced that there will be $4 million that will be devoted to helping primary care doctors be trained to be able to spot Sandy mental health trauma. So I chased this to Brick, and I spoke to Debbie Fortier.
We have asked
Debbie
multiple
from Brick,
times.
and I just want to go home.
If the checkbook was purely at my disposal, and I could review your papers personally and not have the federal government involved, you'd probably be home already.
And that was 5 months ago. So I chased it to her home to see how she's doing right now. She's actually living in temporary housing. Here are pictures of what her home looked like right after Hurricane Sandy in 2012.
My husband's dream was always to be on the water. I was actually pregnant with my daughter, and I walked in and I said, no way. He said, go in, look at the potential. I will make it your dream house. People ask me all the time, like, what do you mean you're not back in your house? It's been almost 2 years. You know, people forget that there's still a long way to go.
Tell me about the temporary housing. Are they in a tent? Are they sleeping on the ground?
No, they're sleeping in a regular house, but it's cramped. It's not at all like the house that they were in.
And now she needs a prescription drug to cope with the reality that she's got a roof over her head. I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time equating post-traumatic stress disorder for somebody that has a little bit of inconvenience. When you think about the men and women that are injured in battle, we've got soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan that have their legs blown off.
Well, Bill, I think you're underestimating how important someone's home is to them. That was their life savings. They're not wealthy. They're in a wealthy area. They're a waitress and a truck driver.
I just feel like they're using PTSD way too loosely. So anyone who goes from upper middle class to middle class has now suffered stress.
Even if there is an alternative given to you, there's still that feeling of loss and probably sadness. I don't think pills are the solution, but I don't think we should minimize the trauma that a person can go through.
I chased this to the Jersey Shore Medical Center, where I spoke to a psychiatrist who's training primary care doctors in this program, and he says that what happens is that those who move back into their homes, they're fine. It's those that aren't in their homes, and there are thousands, they're the ones who have to deal with this, and what happens is they self-medicate with alcohol and drugs, and that's an issue.
And
that's why this money is being devoted to this.
That's taking responsibility for yourself. You need to take responsibility that sometimes bad things happen. Before the show started last year, my apartment burned down. I didn't go to the doctor for PTSD. Why? Because sometimes in life, bad things happen. Naming it Sandy PTSD, I think then we have to name everything else a disorder. And then where's it going to end?
We're calling it Sandy PTSD. They're not. The state's not, and the doctor's not.
You asked her, and she was okay with that term, though.
In one circumstance, we've criticized the government for not responding and doing things that were necessary. At least in this case, they're stepping up, dealing with some of the responsibility of Sandy.